Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic. It's actually raining right now. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, and whether it is also raining there. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga supporters are very angry. And Raila Odinga supporters are very bitter, because Raila Odinga today issued a statement that shocked the entire country. Raila Odinga supported Rigathi Gachagua's call for one man, one vote, one shilling. In this video, I want to explain to you guys why Raila Odinga supporters are very bitter and angry with Raila Odinga over that particular statement. But first of all, let us listen to Raila Odinga.
There are several areas which still need to be looked at, particularly the devolution chapter. But in the devolution, we talked about equity in sharing of resources in our country, not equality. Equity in sharing of resources in our country. That means you actually take count of the numbers of the people where they are, because the services are primarily first and foremost to the people. So one of the points that was discussed extensively during these deliberations in Limuru, according to information that we now have, is this issue of resource sharing of our country. Somehow this thing has been misrepresented as if it is discriminating against other parts of our country. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is not a question of discrimination. We want to ensure that each and every Kenyan gets a fair share of resources created by our sweat. This is what it is. It cannot be right that some children should get more money as bursary than other children in other parts of the country. And I think this is a conversation which, if we have it openly, in a open dialogue, we'll be able to convince majority of our people that this is the right way to go. And that's why in the BBI, we had proposed it. We proposed it. Some people don't want to hear it. But we want to ensure that each and every Kenyan is fairly treated, equally treated. And that's why we're saying, we agree with this phrase that is one man, one vote, one shilling. I agree totally with this. I'm never a populist. I always talk with my mind openly. I know that it may not be very popular in some quarters, but let us have this conversation. As a people, let us have this conversation.
That's Raila Odinga. And for those who've been following this channel, just this week, I think early this week, I opined on this platform that Raila Odinga ought to have remained silent. Because I knew and actually predicted that Raila Odinga's camp is always porous, and that someone somewhere might be plotting to make Raila Odinga talk. Because Raila Odinga's silence actually exposed Kenya Kwanza. And I advised Raila Odinga and AZIMIO to let Kenya Kwanza fight their fight. But because Raila Odinga's team is porous, someone has infiltrated that camp. What was the need, for example, of Raila Odinga receiving the Limuru 3 conference resolutions? What was the need? What was the need? They could have even emailed that report to Raila Odinga. But someone somewhere had to ensure that the event took place at ODM offices, and that the entire conveners or organizers were to be present. And Raila Odinga had to be there physically to receive the report and issue a statement. And that's how Raila Odinga has annoyed his supporters. But why are Raila Odinga supporters annoyed over the move by Raila Odinga to support Rigathi Gachagua's call for the one man, one vote, one shilling? Number one, Rigathi Gachagua is one of the individuals who led Mount Kenya in opposing the Building Bridges Initiative process. One of the issues in the Building Bridges Initiative was the one man, one vote, one shilling. As a matter of fact, when the BBI collapsed, majority of Raila Odinga supporters were actually very excited and they were very happy. I know you were wondering why they were happy. They were happy because even the way BBI was going to split constituencies, Mount Kenya was going to get the highest number of constituencies at the expense of the rest of the country. Actually, the Building Bridges Initiative process was intended to appease the mountain. Rigathi Gachagua, who is now calling for the Building Bridges Initiative process, led that campaigns. So it doesn't make sense for Raila Odinga to now come out and support that one man, one vote, one shilling. Of course, he can support it, but not because of the resolutions of the Limuru 3 conference. The resolutions of the Limuru 3 conference is good for the AZIMIO, but it's also good for the mountain. And it was also good for Rigathi Gachagua to play his politics. I can assure you, after Raila Odinga's statement, that call might not get the kind of traction it was getting from the mountain. So someone has actually played Raila Amolo Odinga. And I trust my instinct. That person is one of Raila Odinga key allies. Probably he was not even present when Raila Odinga was receiving and issuing that statement. So that's why they are now annoyed. Number two, just yesterday, Raila Amolo Odinga addressed alongside Musalia Mudavadi. Number two, just yesterday, Raila Amolo Odinga and Musalia Mudavadi issued a joint statement on Raila Odinga's bid of becoming the next chair of the African Union Commission. In their statement, they were very clear that Raila Odinga is now Kenyan candidate. Then how come Raila Odinga, who is now Kenyan candidate for the African Union Commission, is being dragged into receiving some Limuru 3 conference resolution which, I don't know, when was that conference? Long time ago. Even Uhuru Kenyatta is yet to receive that. Even Uhuru Kenyatta is yet to receive the recommendation. Of course, maybe if he has received it, we've not seen Uhuru Kenyatta receiving the recommendation. Why Raila Amolo Odinga? Why, when Raila Odinga is busy campaigning for the seat, Raila Odinga should actually focus on his bid. AZIMIO supporters want Raila Odinga to take that seat. Raila Odinga will not take that seat by receiving or supporting the one man, one vote, one shilling. That's not a Kenyan issue. That's not Raila Odinga issue. If anything, if the proponents of Limuru 3 cannot push for one man, one vote, one shilling, they should not shoulder that burden on Raila Amolo Odinga. That's my take. Number three, by Raila Odinga issuing that statement, rest assured, and I want you guys to make this, Kenya Kwanza will now have an agenda for the next few weeks. The moment Raila Odinga was silent, you would see Oscar Sudi issuing a statement there. You'd see Kimani Ichung'wah, Rigathi Gachagua and his team issuing different statements. And even this issue of one man, one vote, one shilling became a matter of discussion amongst them, the people who opposed it. Then Raila Odinga is now coming. Raila Odinga knows so well that what Kenya Kwanza has always thrived on is the Raila Odinga phobia. Rigathi Gachagua was very clear that anything Raila Odinga is supporting is bad. That's what he used to tell those people. Why would Raila Odinga then now come and tell Kenyans that he's now supporting the one man, one vote, one shilling? The truth of the matter is that BBI was good, but it was good for the mountain. When they rejected it, that should have marked the end of the Building Bridges Initiative. Remember, William Ruto is well aware that he might not get the kind of support he got in the mountain in the last election. He's aware of that. And because William Ruto is aware of that, William Ruto is banking on the support of former Raila Odinga strongholds. That is the coastal region, who are now opposed to that one man, one vote, one shilling. The northern Kenya, whose population is being debated currently in this republic, who are opposed to one man, one vote, one shilling. Then Raila Odinga is coming and publicly aligning himself with that one man, one vote, one shilling. Raila Odinga, please respect your supporters. Number 4, why they are bitter is because the Limuru 3 resolutions was not a Kenyan issue. The Limuru 3 resolutions. Number 4, the Limuru 3 resolutions were not a Kenyan issue. Those were Mount Kenya, not even Mount Kenya, those were Kikuyu issues. They should not be made a national issue. Because one of the issues they discussed was Mount Kenya kingpin, not a Kenyan kingpin. The other issue they discussed was how Mount Kenya leaders or government officials are being targeted. That was purely a Kikuyu issue. The other day, Atwoli and the group stated clearly that they are also organizing Bukungu 3 conference. That's going to be a Luhya issue, not a Kenyan issue. I've attended, I think the last one I attended was Sikri Declaration, where the Luo sat and agreed. That was a Luo affair. You don't mix those things. And then you bring them now at the national table when issues are being discussed. And some of the places where those issues should be brought is the places like now the Building Bridges Initiative process, the NARCO report. But you don't just bring personal issues, community issues to the attention of Raila Odinga just because you have nothing to do. Because you have nothing to do. Or maybe because you want to spoil things for Raila Odinga. And lastly, the one man, one vote, one shilling is a good debate, just like Raila Odinga stated. But the Kikuyu nation has always had the presidency. Right? The discussion should go beyond, according to most AZIMIO supporters, one man, one vote, one shilling. In fact, the other day I was watching some program on TV, and someone came up with a very good proposal that things like CDF should be done away with, like bursaries being issued based on constituencies should be done away with. Things like bursaries should be centrally organized, so that if a Kenyan in Kiambu is getting 10,000, then another Kenyan in Mandera should also be getting 10,000. Then another Kenyan in Busia should also be getting 10,000. But if we allocate it the way it is being allocated today, it can't work. Honestly, it can't work, because there is no way you can expect a county like Kiambu with so many students, a county like Kakamega, or even my city, my Kisumu Central here, the CDF to be enough. At the end of the day, people will just get 3,000, 4,000, 3,000, 4,000. While other places where even the number of school-going kids are few, they get even 60,000. I mean, there's no equity. So when you look at it from that perspective, it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense when you say one man, one vote, 1 kilometer. Kenya should be developed equitably so that I can be free. Because I know, for example, my brother is in Garissa, staying there, and he's been working there for years now. I expect him to enjoy his stay there. By enjoying his stay there, it means if he wants to move from Kisumu here to Garissa, the roads should be okay. He should be able to find water. He should be able to find electricity, just making everything comfortable. But if you start dividing Kenya that, oh, you know, you guys have been having presidency for 50 years, the roads network are okay, us, we've been marginalized, no roads, those discussions really will not work for the Republic of Kenya. So the thing is, one man, one vote, one shilling campaign is good, but it should be looked at from a different perspective. Just like the 1 kilometer, 1 shilling, 1 kilometer square, good, but Kenyans should think differently. For example, what can we do to make staying, for example, in a place like Wajir comfortable for Kenyans, so that someone like me could comfortably just say, Mimi na relocate to. Those are the discussions. What can government do to make the land in those areas which are huge enough productive? I don't know what you think, but my take is AZIMIO supporters are not happy with Raila Odinga, not because he issued that statement, but because Gachagua opposed the Building Bridges Initiative process. Thank you guys. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.